CP24's Andrew Brennan joins us live once again with the latest on this. Andrew, yeah, for kids going to camp, hopefully they can keep some of the kids indoors for most of the day until that warning is lifted.
Yeah, why can't we do that with reporters? Like, I would love to be inside right now, although it's a beautiful sunrise. And because we're beside the lake, Brian, our cameraman, and I were just talking a little bit. It almost feels like we're beside the sea. And it actually does have even a better taste to when I got out the door this morning. It feels fresh here, which I do not necessarily think it necessarily feels fresh everywhere in Toronto right now. And one thing, when we are talking about these little particulates in the air, I know that sometimes, you know, a big problem, frankly, that a lot of people have with the news these days, they just say, well, it sounds like you're scaring me. Well, there are actual studies that look at the long-term impacts of being beside burning wood and other chemicals that get released into the air as forests are burning. And these are known to cause cancer in high doses, and especially now when we're talking about intermittent exposure, which is what you kind of get on a day like this, having a day like this after a day like yesterday, and then having a bunch of those days over the span of 2 or 3 weeks. That's intermittent exposure. Now, respirologists and other scientific experts in this field are looking at what the impacts are maybe for people like us who aren't right beside these forest fires, but every so often we have to deal with it, and deal with it quite a bit. So here's more from one respirologist, Dr. Gupta.
We know about the long-term impacts of pollution in general, you know, living in a very polluted city for years and years. What is the impact of these intermittent exposures? We're just starting to learn that. And the reality is that these used to be rare one-of events. And we are talking about it now multiple times a summer, every single summer. So we're starting to have to think about this as a chronic repeated exposure. And we're just learning what that's going to do. But it probably will have some level of impact, perhaps less severe, but similar types of impact as what we see with living in a very polluted city for a long period of time.
Well, we already are living in a rather polluted city for a long period of time. That being said, the one good thing I can say is that with all the particulates in the air and the red from the sunrise, Jen and Courtney, at least it looks beautiful. Back to you.